Dragon Ball Super episode 118 is now officially in the history books as we begin to make our way towards Dragon Ball Super episode 119 and discussing our thoughts and predictions on the coming episode. And joining me here today to tackle this subject is my good friend EmoshIsLive, as we are going to be discussing Universe 4 versus Universe 7 and the overall preview that we had following Dragon Ball Super episode 118. Now, judging based on what we're seeing now, it's safe to assume that finally we're gonna see Daemon and his brother take charge and initiative in attacking the Universe 7 warriors. Now, off camera, Emosh, me and you spoke about this in the idea that you don't think that Daemon and his brother are going to attack the fighters. Now, the reason why I'm basing this off of Daemon is because it looks like everyone seems to be getting attacked from different angles, from different corners, and seeing Vegeta slip out of the ring, even though he will not get eliminated. We see multiple fighters like 18 getting, struck from behind. We see Goku having to hit the ground. What I wanted to ask you is, what's your overall thought process going into next week's episode in seeing Universe 4 finally take initiative? Because as we already know, Universe 4 only has a handful of fighters left, so they can only do so much. And what's remarkable about this is I do believe that between Universe 4 and Universe 3, it's safe to assume that Universe 3 has the most fighters, but I really doubt that they're going to be involved in the least. However, I do firmly believe that finally, after all the wait, Daemon and his brother are going to be on the offensive in trying to take down certain fighters and causing an elimination for Universe 7. So what are your overall thoughts going into next week's episode? Do you believe that it's the little blue, swirly, polka dot face character that we see creating these illusions? And just looking at what's happening with our fighters, who do you see being the next person having to be wrung out from the tournament when it comes to Universe number 7?
I remember when Daemon was first introduced, like when we got, not introduced, but we got information about him.
Yeah.
They talked about how he can actually disguise himself, or he's very stealthy. He's also kind of like an invisible in some way, shape, or form, or something
very
like that,
tiny,
if I remember correctly.
Like Ant-Man from Marvel.
Yes, exactly. But then we find out the episode basically has something to do with like an invisible attacker. But then we see this little blue fucker, whatever. I don't even know his name. I don't even remember it. And he's just completely irrelevant to me. I think throughout the entirety of the tournament, we saw him one time just like floating around, and that was it. But now it's like he's casting like this, like, if you guys like follow Naruto, like this genjutsu, like an illusion that makes people see these illusions, and basically they start attacking them and they disappear. Very similar to the Goku Black clones or anything like that, right? Yeah. At the end, we actually see one that looks like Botamo for some reason. I don't know why. So if this person is actually using these techniques, because there's actually a scene where the illusions pop up in front of Piccolo and Gohan, and if you look at the sky, you could see the two little energy waves that are cast off from this blue little fucker, whatever his name is. And that, I think that has something to do with that. And if he can cast these illusions, and from our perspective, like us as fans watching the TV screen, we can see them, but maybe perhaps Piccolo and them cannot in some way, shape, or form, then I guess that kind of makes sense, even though we do see Piccolo trying to attack one of the shadows and it just completely dissipates and stuff like that. So I think I really don't want to say it has anything to do with Daemon right now. There's 13 minutes left. I really think Katella has it set in stone where he wants to make sure that if this doesn't work, those two guys are going to be able to last, basically win the tournament, because they're basically, there's two fighters left. As to where Universe 7 is going to have Goku, for example, let's say, and Universe 11 will have Jiren, right? And then Universe 3, we know that the robots are probably going to fuse together, merge together to create the Megazord or the Gundam Wing, whatever you want to call it. So that's that, really. But I don't think it has anything to do with Daemon. I'm kind of willing to place my bets on just that blue guy right now, because he does seem like a guy that, one, has absolutely no screen time at all. Just that one time we saw him floating around.
Right.
So they're probably just going to use this episode to like get rid of him. And then Katella is just like, all right, don't worry, we still have Daemon and this other guy left over. We're still good to go. Especially with only 13 minutes left, I don't think it's going to be Daemon. I don't think we're going to see Universe 4 get erased first. If anything, we'll end up seeing the robots merge. They'll get defeated, and Universe 3 will go, and then eventually Universe 4 will go right after that, in my opinion.
I think that, and this is where I disagree with you, I think that you're right when it comes down to this little creature using those attacks on Gohan and Piccolo specifically, but we only see those waves and those clones be used for Gohan and Piccolo only, whereas opposed to everyone else, they're getting hit from like all corners, and they're all trying to figure out as to what's happening here. So is it safe to assume that Daemon is going to go on the offensive, except unlike his counterpart, the creature that's going to use the energy waves and whatnot, he's not going to get caught? Because if Daemon's on the offensive, I don't see him getting caught in the least. I can see him, gradually growing in this tournament and using whatever he can to cause the Universe 7 fighters to be thrown off balance And we understand that there is going to be one elimination. We don't know who. Some people are already predicting that possibly it's going to be Vegeta, which I really doubt, and I'm sure you do as well. But you brought something interesting up off camera in talking about 17. You said that 17, in your opinion, seems to be scanning the area, seems to be trying to figure out in solving the identity of this, you know, stealthy warrior. Who do you think, in your opinion, is going to be the next person having to be eliminated from this tournament? Because Universe 7 right now has the most fighters out of all the other universes, and I firmly believe that if it's not going to be Jiren, who's going to solo everybody by himself, it's got to be more to it than adding someone else in the mix and having to throw certain people out, like perhaps maybe causing an elimination for Android 18 since she actually is hurt, or even Piccolo perhaps. Who do you see the next person having to be wrung out? And if so, do you think it's going to come in the form of a surprise, like a major character like Gohan or 17? Or do you think it's going to be one of the obvious and possibly being 18 or Piccolo having to be the next ones to be gone?
Well, they changed the title. I think
they did, yeah.
But I don't understand why they did that, because like we already have enough information about 119 to know that somebody from Universe 7 is going, right? So it was a last minute thing, so I don't understand what that was. I guess for people who just avoid spoilers, but it's kind of iffy in my opinion. From Team Universe 7, I'll probably have to say the reason I mentioned 17 is because he was attacked from behind, and then they showcased 2 scenes of him just talking and just looking around. So I assume that right now he's kind of playing the role of being the hunted. And considering that he works with wildlife and stuff like that, we've seen him reference this before with, I believe it was the tiger chick from Universe 2. I forgot her name. Yes. Yeah, Kakusa, I think it was her name.
Kakusa.
Yeah. So he basically, exactly. He basically referenced that to the whole like wildlife and stuff like that. So I could see 17 using that concept to say, well, okay, right now I'm being hunted, but I have to switch the situation and make myself the hunter. How would I do this? I'm assuming he deals with animals that consider, you know, if anything, they camouflage themselves in some way, shape, or form, or, you know, something like that, right? So I would imagine that he has to act like a snake at this point in time. Maybe this is why we see Goku eventually hitting the floor, maybe to detect where these enemies are using shockwaves or something like that. Because, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. We've seen Gohan do something similar when he fought Lavenda, not to a T, but the use of other senses is what was actually advertised back then. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do that now, considering 17 has dealt with, I guess, animals like this before, if anything, fighters like this before as well. I just feel like he is that character to actually get some kind of a spotlight. I've been saying for quite some time on my channel that I feel like he's just the X factor right now. He's definitely an X factor for Team Universe 7. I feel like if anybody can calmly assess the situation, then it's definitely 17. Despite him being attacked, he's always calm, cool, collected. He's always able to assess the situation. And I just feel like he's that character to do the same thing. But now that you mention it, that's true. Only Gohan and Piccolo are affected by this blue little asshole, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And that's what's being advertised. And then we see 17, 18, Goku, and everybody else.
Everyone else is dealing with something else, right?
They're dealing with something else. And it's interesting. Maybe, and we do know Daemon does have stealth capabilities to my knowledge. So maybe it could be Daemon, but it's just the thought of Goku hitting the floor trying to hit Daemon. Because if he's that small, I don't know, man. I just feel like the writing right now has gotten to a point where they can't necessarily think of certain abilities that would throw off Universe 7, so they kind of have to force it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, if you can't see Daemon, you can sense him. Oh, but wait, we can't sense him either.
You can barely sense him. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, what do we do? Like, how do we defeat this person? Is Daemon that powerful? And then we know that he has self-destruction capabilities, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So it's like, well, what is that? Is that what he's doing to 17? Is he like exploding on their backs? And if that's the case, then he has to have some kind of strength behind that. I really don't understand what they're doing with Universe Sword, to be completely honest. But I feel like Catella might want to save Daemon. That's how I see it. As far as who might be eliminated, I think because 17, I could see 17 being that guy, the X Factor, to analyze the situation, and then ultimately maybe him being the one to bring himself out at the expense of ensuring that Team Universe 7 is able to figure out what Universe 4 is doing right now. But I could also see 18 going too. She's, I think she's kind of run her course at this point in time. Krillin also seems to be kind of worried in the episode. Right. Krillin's always worried, so it's like whatever. Some people have also felt like maybe it's Piccolo. Piccolo does seem a little tired. He does seem like the type to take attacks and to really put himself on the line for his, for his friends and stuff like that. Then we get trolled with Vegeta. you know, with the slip and slide with Vegeta. So that's,
see, he's not gonna get wrung out. I don't understand why so many people are assuming that. It's like he slips, but what makes anyone think that he's actually gonna get wrung out is beyond me.
Yeah, I just feel like they did a good job with this preview, in my opinion. I would say this is one of the previews where it's kind of difficult to say who will get wrung out. If I have, in my opinion, though, I would say it has to be one of the androids, though. I would call it that.
I would have to say it's probably going to be Android 18. She's hurt. I think, like you said, she's run her course. I don't really see her being any kind of like key player here after this, because she did her thing with Ribrianne. She had her moments, man. She had her moments with her brother. They defended Goku. It's time to go, and there's 13 minutes left. And you know what's interesting? How in the world are they going to drag this on until March is beyond me, but who's to say that the tournament's going to actually end in March? Because we still have some time. And judging based on the way this is going, this could end in January, February. So now we understand that the real climax is here in the idea that everyone's leaving. Universe 2 and 6, gone. Universe 4 and 3 on the brink of destruction. Jiren's awake. Goku's still trying to recover. So I can definitely see them trying to either A, preserve the Universe 7 fighters for Jiren to eliminate, because I have that feeling that if it's not going to be anybody from Universe 3 or 4, I can see Verma making the call and saying, get rid of them now. And you know, to everyone's surprise, can you imagine what it would be like for Universe 7 to outlast Universe 3 and 4, just to go head to head against Universe 11, and then having one guy start ringing out everybody?
No, I would like to see that, honestly, because I think enough is enough with Jiren. There's no excuse this
Imagine that for a second. You have the recreation of what happened with Broly in the first movie, with everybody trying to gang up on him, and this guy just knocking everyone down. Or maybe he's the one now that pursues Goku, and everyone else is like, all right, we're gonna have to hold him back for Goku to get more stamina or recover a bit more for us to, fend them off against this adversary here. But of course, to no avail, they start getting wrung out.
To add to what you just said, the Grand Prix even mentions Universe 7 has the most knockouts, the most warriors left in the entirety of this tournament.
They're in the lead by far.
As a result of that, they're also like the most tired and damaged. Then they kind of show 17, which is like, well, they don't get tired anyway, so it's like whatever. But it's just food for thought. I think they're kind of mentioning these things for a certain reason. But I think, once again, like I said before, this preview, despite it not really being exciting, okay? But I think it's handled extremely well. It does a good job at not necessarily telling us who's getting eliminated, despite people saying it's Vegeta. I don't think so.
It's definitely not Vegeta. And the thing with the spoilers is, if anyone out there reckons, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, we got spoilers for episode 118 saying that Frieza was going to fight Zabuto and having his fun with Universe 2.
That's
and
true.
then, Goku gets in the way and then he takes away his pleasure. That never happened. That never happened.
Yeah, that never happened. And Frieza's been ghost.
Episode 119 spoilers may not be entirely accurate in terms of somebody getting wrung out.
That could also, maybe that's why they changed the title, if
Perhaps,
anything.
yeah.
They made it
because I'm telling you right now, I really do feel there's 13 minutes left. They have to start incorporating dudes. And I feel like it's gonna be Daemon and his brother, but I don't think that they're gonna appear just to get wrung out. I think that they're gonna appear, cause some damage, and bounce again.
I mean,
this whole time they were away, bro. Like, think about this. They've been through everything when it came to Hit fighting, Jiren fighting, everyone just throwing down. They've been somewhere out there just observing, very microscopic in size, but they've been there. That's why it's kind of like, okay, somehow I can see them attacking, or at least one of them attacking, while the other one's still there. I mean, the other one's still there. I mean, that's why it's kind of like, it's weird because, like you said, we see Gohan and Piccolo doing their thing. They're being, like, trampled by holograms and whatnot. And then on the other side, everyone else is getting hit from different directions. It's like, what's really going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This preview is actually done extremely well. I remember in our discussion about Frieza and how he's kind of like growing on us right now. And I just remember that. I felt like I mentioned how, in my opinion, I feel like Frieza would be the catalyst for Universe 4. Not in terms of like helping them, but I mean the catalyst to playing a major role as to how to defeat them.
Right.
I just feel like he's that kind of guy. But then after seeing the previews, I feel like 17 might be the key to figuring out who this invisible attacker is, because it talks about an invisible attacker. It doesn't really talk about like multiple, like, not that it really has to, but I just feel like when it comes to like these kind of previews, we have to like look at everything that's being said, both visually in terms of dialogue as well. But like I said, again, third time I'm gonna say it, this preview is really good. I really like it. It's not like showing us like Vegito blue like it did in the Merge and Monster.
Oh no, that was a dead giveaway. That just happened.
Yeah, but I think, and I would actually encourage this more that they should do this more often. For example, this week's spoilers, we got like a little not even a paragraph, just a couple sentences.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then the previews, once again, very straightforward, not really telling us anything. But then now what we have is that before the episode airs, they give us like a 20-second clip of what's happening in the episode. So it's like they give us an extended preview before the episode airs now. That's what they're doing for the climax arc, which I personally don't agree with. I would much rather be surprised, but whatever. I mean, we'll see what happens.
I'm telling you right now, given the fact that we are nearing the end of the year, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all you guys. I think that the real battle is going to begin, I would say, in the beginning of the year. That's when like the real stuff is going to go down as we near the end. However, even looking at what happened in tonight's episode, how did you feel about what we saw? Because it really hit me in the feels, like especially towards the end when we saw what we saw, and we spoke about that briefly. They kept true to Champa's character. He called upon Beerus, hey bro, blah, 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 and then he just got erased. And then with Kabe saying Master Vegeta, do your best, Hit not saying anything, Caulifla having to be Caulifla. How did you feel about episode 118? Because I want to touch up on the negative aspect, and that was the poor execution of the Universe 2 fighters. You and I both said that was the probably like the epitome of what lazy writing is, because those characters had no identity. It was just more or less a copy and paste of Ribrianne, Rosie, and her friend. But to a degree, we also saw a really good fight between Gohan, Piccolo, and Saunel and Purina. So how did you feel about this episode, and how did you initially react when we saw Champa get erased?
All right, so Universe 2 is still bad.
Very bad.
They're just really bad.
Really bad.
Yeah, I can't stress enough how bad they are. But it's not because it wasn't Ribrianne. So before people say that, it has nothing to do with Ribrianne. That's the funny part. It's because the episode, despite them giving us Ribrianne 2.0 or Ribriman, like they give us Ribriman now, and then the other two, fodder characters. Despite that, the choreography for the episode was amazing. The Kamehameha wave at the end, how it clashed between Gohan and Goku, and then we saw Universe 2 fall off from one side, Universe 6 fall off from the other, and they kind of like, panned back and forth between Gohan and between Goku, and then the fight was 17, and Piccolo. I like that, and that's how the tournament should have been done from the beginning. It could have been done that way. Don't get me wrong. So people are gonna say, well, you're not gonna showcase, a bunch of different universes in one episode. No, that's not what I'm saying. We've seen many instances of this kind of style before, and then it's just like, well, where's Universe 3? Where's Jiren right now? What's going on?
Yeah, where's Toppo? Where's Dispo? Yeah, where's everybody?
Yeah, they're just standing there chilling and da-da-da. And logically speaking, that might be the smart thing to do, to just reserve your numbers, to be honest. But we're all well aware, even Belmont is aware, Jiren's aware he could tank everybody on this tournament floor right now. So once again, for example, I'm gonna say it again, the previous did a great job. You got Vegeta. At the end of this episode, we got Vegeta after seeing Kaba get erased, after seeing Universe 6 get erased. He's pissed off. He tells Keto Pepsi Man or Duff Man, whatever you want to call him, and he tells him, yo, I hope you're prepared because I'm in a terrible mood right now. And then the preview, we see him slipping under a rug. So
that was kind of tacky. So, I do think that Vegeta's gonna beat him like severely down. I think that Vegeta's gonna do his thing.
I agree. I think he's done for. But I was sad to see Universe 6 go, man.
You know what got me, to be honest? The music, the way everything was, the acceptance of Halise, saying, let's accept our fate gracefully. And everyone was like, bye bye. And then Champa was like, and then what's crazy? Champa was panicking at first when he saw Vados on the other side, and then once he realized it and he looked back and he saw his universe was just gracefully accepting this, he kind of like puckered up his chest and he was like, yo bro, I love that. And people were going about saying, well, what if Beerus cried, or what, no, they stood true to their characters, even though you can clearly see Beerus was really upset. I loved how they didn't break character. How did you feel about that?
No, I agree, 100% agree. See, the thing is, they kind of made it fun, right?
Yeah.
It made it enjoyable to watch, but you still felt like they didn't overdo it with the feels. You see what I'm saying? They didn't make it seem like, Kaba was giving off this speech to Vegeta, like, oh, Shisho, I have faith in you. Like, it wasn't really like that. He was just like, listen, Master, do your best, and then hits quiet. And then Caulifla's he's like, listen, you know, even though we're still gonna get erased, I'm still gonna clobber you. And then she's chasing after them in Super Saiyan, and then the Namekians are like, stop it, we have holes in our stomach.
The Kaioshin is like, oh well, just might as well accept my fake.
And then he's yawning, and he's yawning, and then Champa's just like, yo. But see, that's what tells us that they actually care about each other to some degree. Like, he literally addressed him as bro. He didn't say Beerus. He says, he goes, hey bro, and then Beerus looks back a little bit like he doesn't want to look.
Notice how Whis the whole time was like, you're awfully quiet.
Yeah,
because you know our fighters are gonna knock him out, and he was like, no.
And then Beerus basically tries to like act tough, go like Universe 7 knock off Universe 6 and 2, and then towards the end when it really came down to it, I like how they zoomed out, and then the light was shining onto Champa, and then Champa's like, hey bro, and then Beerus is just looking back, and then he gets erased, and then Beerus is just like, say something.
Slowly looks back, like, say something.
Yeah, that was cool. I liked it, man. But this episode, despite Universe 2 being fodder, and oh, by the way, before we wrap this up, I liked how Ribrianne, Rosie, and Kakus and all these other people looked towards the screen. They were looking at you, the viewer base.
Yeah, and they were saying thank you.
Intentionally saying thank you for the support, but that was kind of like a 50-50 troll. Like,
we all hate
here in the States, we hate them. But for Japan, they probably like them. Yeah, and that's probably, and if anything, that was probably evidence to say that Japan actually likes these characters, and that's why they got so much screen time as opposed to everybody else. So I liked how we kind of got trolled 50-50 there. Like I said, this episode you could tell was thought out properly. It felt good. Despite Universe 2 being fodder, it still felt good. I liked it.
The only thing I did not agree with was seeing the way Goku was bouncing back and forth with Kaioken and stuff like that. And before anyone says, oh, did he use Kaioken? Yeah, he did at the very end, or at least he attempted to when he used the Kamehameha. But,
it looked like he was trying to.
Within a 2-minute time frame, you're telling me that like in last week's episode, he was like badly beat up, he wasn't able to move, and now he's able to kick ass. It's like, dude, I mean, hey, listen, at the end of the day, it's the Goku show. But this raises,
Yamoshi. He's Yamoshi, remember that.
The spirit of the original Super Saiyan guy, which I doubt that. I doubt that concept. But what I really cannot wait for is we have approximately, I would say, we have 3 to 4 more episodes left for the remainder of the year. That's not counting if they're gonna air one during Christmas time or New Year's time. So give or take 3 or 4 more episodes. And within this month, we're going to be getting lots of info as to what's going to happen with the finale of the tournament, the new arc, all that kind of stuff. That's why I feel like Daemon has to be here. He has to be involved, because what more could you possibly be saving him for? It's like, you already know, once it dwindles down from 10 minutes on down, the big boys are going to play. So it's like, they have to drag this on for like the little guys to have a moment, get them out of there, and then from there, it's like, it's all hell's going to break loose. So any last words? It pertains to episode 119.
Fuck Universe 4.
I agree. I mean, Katella looks a little, in the beginning, he looks a little confident, but if you look at the preview carefully, he looks to be like holding on to his eyes or whatever. He seems to be
Beerus is actually,
a bit panicking.
I think Beerus is copying him. He made like an exact replica of his face. It looked like he was trolling him too in the previews. If you look at it, he's actually copying Katella too. I was like, oh my god, this guy's trolling Katella on top of that.
And they have a rivalry too, so that's one of the reasons why I can't wait to see that episode, to be honest.
I agree.
I was gonna say, but post your comments down below, guys. Let us know if you guys agree with Emosh. Is it the little blue figurine, the little blue figure that we see fighting Gohan and Piccolo, or is it in fact, Daemon and his brother? Or if you guys believe it's somebody else, maybe perhaps another fighter that we don't know about, maybe from Universe number 3, Universe number 4. Who's to say? I still think it's Daemon. Maybe somebody disagrees out there, but let us know what you guys think. Thank you all so much for watching, guys. Once again, if you guys are new to the channel, punch that subscribe button. Leave a like down below if you guys are new. Also, check out EmoshIs channel. I will leave a link to that down in the description box. Thank you all once again for watching, and we'll be seeing you all in the next video. Take it easy, guys. Peace.